Hey guys, Crypto Mike here, and I wanted to do a video talking about some of these game mechanics that may not be so obvious for new players. And one of those things that I had a little time learning, it wasn't a ton of time because it's right there on the play screen, but it's not so exactly obvious what these things mean unless you know what they mean. So I'm going to talk about the void and what that means and how you can use it to your advantage when you have cards that suggest pulling cards from the void. Of course, we're talking about Gods Unchained and the game mechanics. There are some cards in particular that you can pull things from your void or even your opponent's void. But what does that mean? All right, so in the regular game screen, as you drop cards, creatures, spells, weapons, the creatures, if you defeat them and they're dead, right, quote, dead, they move into the void. It's sort of like purgatory or heaven, hell, whatever you want to call it, something like that. Their soul moves to that spot, all right? If they're soulless, they do not go into the void. They're obliterated. Their soul just disappears and does not go into the void. Now, what is the void and why is this important? Well, there's a couple of instances here where you may want to know exactly what's going on. And I've picked out two that are important to me because I play a death deck, as many of you know. And so the thing is this, with the rotted one here, it's a mana 5 card and it's 8/8. You see, that's pretty powerful at mana 5, but there's a catch. It's got a roar. If you have less than 20 cards in your hand and void combined, deal 10 damage to your god, right? Well, that's fine, except what if you don't know how many cards are in your void? How do you find that out? Well, I found out the hard way. You drop that card and you don't know and you take 10 damage and you don't want to take 10 damage. There's a problem. It's not the only one. There's another good example here if you look at this card called Pull the Strings, and it's similar, right? Deal 5 damage to your god. Pull a creature with cost 5 or less from either void onto your side of the board. And it's helpful to know before you drop this card if there's anything worth pulling out of the void. For instance, if in the void there's nothing but 1/1 zombies, why are you going to waste this card, take damage to your god, and then only get a zombie out, right? So it's important to know what you're going for here and knowing what's in your void and what's in your opponent's void. So the question becomes, well, exactly how do we figure this out? If this is a game I played just recently here in the last few minutes, and I wanted to point out exactly what's happening with the void. If you look at the board over on the right side, you've got where you click the turn back and forth to each other, right? Just to the right of that, you have the red thing and the green thing, and those are your voids, all right? So I'm going to make this screen this way, and you can see. Now, as I play this, you'll see my mouse here hover over on the right side exactly over these voids. So the one closest to you, of course, the green void is going to be your void. The void on the other side is the opponent's void, and if you hover the mouse over, you see and click on it, you can get a view of what's actually in the void itself. I'll play this again full screen so you can see exactly what's happening here. But the point is that you can get this information before. It doesn't have to be a surprise after the fact. So let's check this out one more time in full screen. You can see I'm hovering over the green, and it'll tell you 2 cards in the void, 1 card, 2 cards, 1 card, depending on which one you hover over. Then you click it, the void itself, and you can see what actual dead monsters are in the void, okay? So that's what I'm talking about, and these types of things, I think, it's not so obvious sometimes. Of course, experienced players are going to say, well, duh, I knew that. Well, of course, but at some point you were a new player too, and this is good information, so there you go. I hope this helps you with your games and with winning and choosing new cards for new decks and new metas. And thanks for hanging out. Thanks for listening. I'm Crypto Mike. This is not financial advice, and I'm not a financial advisor. And I appreciate the thumbs up, all the comments, and subscribing to the channel. We'll see you guys in the next video.